all too often that companies will, say that they're paying their antivirus subscription, everything should be fine. But after a while, the antivirus companies actually stop making the daily or the hourly or the weekly updates even work on old versions. I do know that AVG just recently pulled a switch, so anybody running 7.5 cannot get updates. So even though you have that on there, it might be old. It might not even be functioning anymore from new viruses. As you can see, the trends out there are really saying that viruses are still a very prevalent thing. So having on-a-date antivirus is almost as bad as having none at all. Software and security updates. Obviously Microsoft updates are a very important thing, and they've been talked about by most IT people, including us, for a long, long time. The Microsoft updates cover things like Windows, of course, on server and workstations, but also Office. Outlook especially is very vulnerable to attacks because that's where a lot of the emails are coming in. And I'll show you in a moment some security settings in Outlook that can help protect you. Server applications as well, though, especially web servers, Exchange servers, things that are actually meant to sit out there on the internet and allow people to access them. Lots of security updates for those, and they're coming out all the time as well. But other software, too, do have security updates, not just bug fixes in them. Believe it or not, Acrobat Reader is one of them. Sure, you see the Acrobat Reader pop up from time to time, and oh, there's a new language update or something like that. But some of them are just levels of protection for making sure that people can't fake a PDF file or fake a virus to look like a PDF file, and then Adobe infects you. Java is a very major one because that's a technology that most websites operate on from carriers. So any kind of security updates in Java are very important, and same thing with Flash. Again, any of this stuff relating to internet, anything can update you want to. Always, again, just give you the disclaimer of checking with your carriers, with your software vendors. There's very, very rarely, but still once in a while, can be a conflict with some of these programs. That's why we handle that for everybody at Smart Services. Talking about web browser and email information and tips. The current version of Internet Explorer is version 8. There are a lot of improvements in version 8. Version 7 should be pretty common nowadays, so if you're not on version 7, you should at least be there. Version 7 handles a lot of these same security features as version 8. Some people say that, and some companies say that version 8 doesn't work with their program, and it's got something called compatibility mode or compatibility view to make it work with sites that aren't programmed perfectly. But the features in Internet Explorer 8 is something called protected mode browsing. And basically what that does is it makes it so the user browsing the internet, they can't have stuff installed from web pages. Plain and simple. Really just depends on the user permission levels. Anti-phishing feature or filter. Anti-phishing has always been a technology that we've talked about in regards to spam filtering, but it's actually now built into Internet Explorer and also was in version 7. What the browser does is every time you visit a website with this filter turned on, unless you've already marked it trusted, is to just compare it with a database of internet sites that say these are legitimate sites or not. So what this would do is if you do have a user that accidentally clicks on that link in PayPal, what they thought was PayPal, but it's now taking them out to some other site which is going to try to steal their info, which can lead to identity theft. Internet Explorer is going to try to stop them from going to that site as well. Just an added layer of protection for you. Pop-up blocker, pretty obvious what that does. The in-private filtering, this is a great, neat new tool in Internet Explorer 8. And basically what it does is, if you've heard of what cookies are little files that get put on your computer by a website that has some information in it. It could be just the simple, the number 1. And the website would read that file and see, oh, there's a 1. That means they've been here before. So it's not going to pop up a welcome, thank you for visiting for the first time thing. Or it could be something like a logon. Whenever you tell a website to remember your logon, it's not doing anything on the website. It's actually putting a cookie on your computer. So the website always goes into your computer and reads these cookies to see what they say. Well, the in-private filtering, what that does is it makes it so one website can't read another website's cookies. Just something, again, to protect you from the people out there that you don't might know who they're sharing information with. The default internet zone security level now is medium high. and that's a good place to be as far as browsing goes. Again, a lot of carriers say, well, our website won't work if you set your security settings to medium high. Well, yes, we know that, but that's why we'll add those to trusted sites. But medium high for any other website that we don't know about is always going to be a good idea. That's going to stop those scripts that may be trying to sneak themselves in, or those pop-ups that might say you're infected, please click here to clean. It'll stop those things from actually allowing to do their thing. As far as Microsoft Office Outlook goes, the reading pane is always something that's been talked about. People go back and forth saying it's safe, it's not safe. It used to be called the preview pane. So if you're used to just clicking on the email and then on the right or on the bottom, actually seeing what the email says without having to double click it and open it. Microsoft is always releasing security updates for Outlook that fix exploits of things that can, get around the security that's built into Outlook to make it so bad things can happen if you just have something in the reading pane. So what that means is, we always talk about productivity enhancers and way to save a second or two, but it is a strong recommendation that you do take the extra 3 seconds it takes to double click an email to open it, because if you accidentally click on something in the reading pane, or if you delete one email and it opens another one up in the reading pane that's not safe, scripts and things in that email could potentially run on their own and infect you. Microsoft has built in a new thing in Office for a lot of different security settings and enhancements that people may not have known that were there, called the Trust Center. So you can see that by going in your new version of Office 2007 to Help and then Privacy Options. In here you can actually do things like configure encryption in your email. For anybody who's been asking what a secure or a way to secure email is, and we might have talked about PGP or Pretty Good Privacy for encrypting emails with sensitive information like people's credit card numbers, social security, and so on. You can actually subscribe to services and then configure them to be used right through Outlook under the email encryption here. Macro security, this is just for letting things run inside those emails. It's by default set to a pretty high level. Attachment handling, you can actually tell Outlook to block certain types of attachments, which is a very effective thing, in case your users just aren't paying attention to the rules, or, they're opening something that they think is safe because it is from their spouse. And then the add-in manager, you can also see what's running in the background of Outlook, just to make Outlook run a little more stable and smooth. So now we went through quite a bit here today, so what I want to do is leave everybody with a couple very useful resources. Of course, the links to the threat centers that MXLogic has provided and the threat forecast reports. And another very interesting website, which we didn't touch on today, but we here at Smart Services, and I know a lot of other IT people use, is SANS, the Internet Storm Center at SANS. It's, almost look at it like an open source security resource. A lot of people collaborate and talk about the new threats and things out there. Whenever there's what's called a 0-day threat, or something that a patch is released for on the day that it's discovered because it's so bad and so serious, usually that information is first on SANS, and that's where we look to figure out where those things are and how to block them effectively. That's where people share all the information about these things. So again, I do thank everybody for joining us for our webinar today about the threat forecasts online and different prevention strategies. I do encourage everybody to share